I have a lot of agents that are always like, we need to buy Zillow leads. Obviously, I know you've worked with teams in the past. I've never been a Zillow. I mean, a little bit, but not massive. I know you've worked with teams that do flex. How is it for you working with those type of leads?
You know, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Right. An online lead, a Zillow lead converts anywhere from 1% to 6%. Right.
6%.
It's very, very tough. Right. But you have to be persistent with those leads.
So what's your average follow-up for those guys?
So for me, if I get a Zillow lead, I'm following up 10 times.
10 times.
I'm calling, texting, video message. Right. And I repeat. And by the 10th time, if they don't call me, they don't pick up the phone, they're just not interested, right?
What about, how do you feel when someone with an agent sends you like a more of like an SOI deal, like sphere of influence?
So a sphere of influence, and I'm tracking all this data, right? So a sphere of influence converts anywhere from 28 to 35%. It's a much stronger lead, right? And the way they refer me is critical, right? Because they're instilling trust in me that I could close, right? And I treat them the same way, and I reciprocate. And I acknowledge the agent as well, right? Because we build those bonds and those relationships, and that's how I'm able to get additional leads from that client. My goal for every lead, every organic lead that an agent sends me, my goal is to get 2 more leads out of that client, right? And that's just working your database and doing the proper things and not being transactional.
I need to grow the database, right? It's like why we do the podcast, the other podcast, not this one, but the other podcast, like, it's like I've met so many people because of that I would have never met before. And then it's like, now I'm going to an event on Saturday and it's like crazy. Now I show up to these events and it's like everyone I've already had on the podcast and like, I'm the only real estate agent there, right? Like no one else is here. So it's like trying to figure out ways to grow your influence on all those people. It's crazy to me that do you feel we were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about during COVID. It was different a little for you guys because you're banging out refis like crazy. But for as agents, we were running around a lot of people that were never gonna buy. Like I look back how many people I showed houses to that I was like, why was I even wasting my time? Like they only had 40K. They only had
during COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, you know, when things were going 50 above, 100 above, waiving appraisals. So it's like it's like, oh, you're an FHA buyer, like and I'm still showing them houses, you know. But it was like now I think back, I was like that person never had a chance to buy a house, never. And so what's crazy is then we felt busy because we're running around, we were dealing with all these leads. But like transactional, I did more last year than I did during COVID. And so, do you feel like agents like to feel busy, but they're doing things that aren't actually making them money?
Absolutely.
Like showing buyers that aren't pre-qualified yet, or they, you know what I mean?
So I know you've seen this plenty of times. You worked at different offices. How many times do you see an agent come into the office, they're scrolling on their social media for hours, jumping on some emails, right?
Watching a webinar.
Right, watching a webinar, and at the end of the day, they go home and their significant other asks them, what'd you do all day? Oh, super busy. Right? But they don't analyze what they actually did that day. Did they do anything productive? And that's the problem in our business. There's no set structure. Or they don't have a game plan or the discipline to structure their day. And that's why a lot of time gets wasted. Right? And
well, you're part of the